All right, I'm unmuted. I'm going to throw this little screen up here so that it puts my contact information in the upper right there. It's from another other demonstration, of course, but anyway, there's my contact information. Okay, so what I've got here is this piece of box elder. Let me switch to this view here. And as I was turning it earlier, I noticed that I've got some cracks in it, and it's probably going to come apart on me if I try to do much more. So I'm going to try. I've done some super gluing down in here to see if I can't keep it together, and I'm going to trim it down to about here, and then I'm going to make my bottom here. Okay. So that's the first thing I've got to do is take this bit down to the point where I think I've got more stable wood, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna do that with my deep fluted bowl gouge. Switch to this one, and my deep fluted bowl gouge, and I'm gonna just use pull cuts, and I'm gonna come across like that across the lid. What I don't want to do is I don't want to just cut right into it, into the middle of the piece to get rid of the waste, because then I'll have fragments flying around the shop, and that's always a bad plan. All right, any questions so far? All right, I'm going to wade in. And you can hear how unstable the wood is. Yeah, I got lost fragments there. So let's have a look. Okay, still good. And it is doing exactly what I thought it would do. It is coming apart. All right, let's see if I've got an edge I can use. All right, maybe a few more cuts here. Okay, so a word on these cuts. When I'm coming across the piece like this, I've got my tool at a fairly steep angle. I'm cutting with the bottom flute, of course, and I'm getting a fairly steep, good shear cut. There's almost no sanding required on this lip that I've done here. All right, so now I'm going to shape the outside. And let me switch to this camera here. Now, this was a piece that I was making in the shop a little earlier this afternoon for a shop purpose, but that's now changed. So I'm going to part it down under here, and I'm going to curve my bowl around underneath to meet where I'm going to part it. So I'm going to sort of start that and then curve the bowl around to it, and I'm going to use this tool here, which is a thin parting tool, and I've got it trimmed a little bit here. It's not exactly flat across it. It's a little slanted. I don't know if y'all can see that, but the tool itself is not straight across. It's a little slanted, and that lets me get in and undercut things. So that's what I'm going to do here now. This is a peeling cut rather than a scraping cut. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to take this little ridge off and shape my bowl to the bottom. I'm going to curve it underneath so it doesn't look like it's going flat.
So right now, the high point on your angle of your parting tool was to the right.
Yeah, the high point is supposed to be on this side so that I can undercut it. the point of it, so that as I'm going in, I'm undercutting it a little bit. I mean, if I can, if I'm like this, then it's slanted this way a little bit. Okay. And if I turn the tool this way and go in, now the tool is, this bit is flat, but I've got a leading point that really cuts cuts it well here going in. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but
Well, it does. I like it.
okay. All right, good. Yeah, that's like one of my favorite tools now. So I've got some, I'm going to see if I can't clean this up with a shearing cut a little bit here.
Joaquin just put a comment in chat that he was discussing this situation here with another turner today. And he states that there's as much market for 6 inches and under bowls as there is for bowls that are 16 inches and above. So,
well, and they're fun to make because you can, and one of the reasons why I was sort of pushing this as a challenge is that usually the wood is not that big a deal, and so you don't worry about messing things up, which gives you the freedom to experiment and try different shapes and experiment with form and so on. So now what I'm going to do, okay, the bottom of my bowl is going to be here. So, I've got a good 1/2 inch or more here, so I can go deeper and shape the inside of my bowl more. So that's what I'm going to do next. So I'm going to use a cut that looks like this. I'm going to ride the bevel along like this, and ride the bevel into the center. Now, a lot of people, and I had this discussion this past weekend with my own club at our meeting, is what they'll do is, I mean, and I've done this too, I certainly do this, is they'll aim the flute right at the center. And the problem with that is that when you get right to the center, there's very little wood there, and you sort of pull it out and you get a, I don't know what you call that, but it tears the wood. However, if you get a shearing angle like this, so you're not aimed right at the center, you're aimed sort of, you've turned the tool a little bit, and you ride the bevel across like that, right to the center, you get a shearing cut all the way to the center, and you don't get that tear out in the middle. So that looks like this. And because I'm going to move my tool rest a little bit, because I'm starting out, yes, sir.
Somewhere along you doing the inside of that bowl, can you show us that ball end mill?
I can. Yep. I'm going to let me show this. Okay, Ronnie.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's great.
Yep. So because I'm starting off on the rim, my handle is way out here. All right. So I don't, let me switch to this camera here. So I'm starting out here like this, and the cut will go like this, and I'll ride it like that to the center. Okay. So I'm not taking a lot. Well, I could take a lot, but I'm going to take, so let me show it from this angle first. And then let me show it from this angle. Yeah, I didn't do that very well. I got to do a pull cut, clean it up. So, and for Ronnie, the ball end mill tool, I'm going to back the tool rest away a little bit. And these are self-drilling, so I can drill in a little bit and pull it across the tool like that. And either ride it up along the side or pull it up along the side like this. Any questions about this so far?
Joaquin's asking what the angle in front of you, your gouge is. His is at 45.
I think mine is, I haven't ever measured it, but it's around 55. It's a little steeper than a lot of people's, like I've seen the Thompson one. I was looking at the Thompson one this weekend. One of the guys had one at the club, and his was like that. Oops, I don't know if you can see it, but it wasn't like mine is more this way, and his was like that. So I like it like this because I tend to use the flutes in a like I would use a skew a lot. So that's why I ground mine this way, and it's slightly curved along this like this surface here is slightly curved, slightly convex. Okay.
Yes. And keep in mind, if you do that concave, you're building a trap.
Yep. Oh yeah, totally. You don't want that. So, and that allows you to really roll the tool around things. And I don't know if you guys remember the demo I did where I showed the making the OGs on the bottom, the shearing versus scraping demo, where I showed where I could shift from a scrape to a shear and change and take more wood and change the OG on the fly. I don't know if you guys remember that demo.
I do.
Yep. There you go.
I got a mine like a rusted steel trap. What the hell?
Once
Matt,
it closes, it never opens. What's that?
when you pulled the ball cutter out on the side, did you change your presentation of the tool at all, or did you keep it still, I'm going to just say straight up and down?
If I changed the tool at all, I dropped the handle. Okay.
Okay.
So this is me dropping the handle. All right. So here's one where I'm just pulling it and keeping it, starting at the center, and I'm pulling it straight out to the edge, and I'm not changing the angle at all.
Okay.
Okay. And that works. Okay. Now what I also can do is I can start here, drop the handle, and change it to so the angle is sort of the same as it's in the corner, but that doesn't work quite as well. So actually keeping it straight and pulling it straight to the edge works better.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Brent says he bought one of those ball and mills and he forgot about it.
How could you forget about it? It's like my favorite tool.
Yeah. But
So
hey, I'm not going to say anything about what Brent turns. He can forget about all of it.
And Ronnie, if you get a 4-inch ball in there, you can just shove it straight in. You won't even have to pull it.
There you go.
There you go.
You said a 4-inch? I wish you told me that earlier. I didn't get one quite that small.
Popeye better eat his spinach before he does that.
Now I'm just going to part it off. Now I am undercutting this piece a bit, okay, so that it sits flat. And I think I've left enough so I don't funnel it.
You cut that big of a ball end mill, you'll be in Brent's club in a minute.
Exactly.
Walter wants to know, is the ball end mill a metal turning tool? Certainly is, Walter. It's a milling tool. And MSC, Granger, McMaster Carr, and your local metal wood metal turning shop will have them in stock.
So there's my little 4-inch bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. And I would have sanded this out a little bit. And the nub on the bottom, I'll just Dremel it off.
I forgot to mention, Amazon's got them also.
What does Amazon have? The ball end mill?
The ball end mill.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the link we posted in the chat on there. So
Yeah, that's where Ronnie got his.
yep, there you go. So there's my little bowl. It's a little thick in the bottom. I could have gone a little deeper, but I mean, it's something. It's very quick, and you can do things like, I mean, sometimes I add a wood burn line around the rim, or I add a feature on the bottom. There's all kinds of things you can do with these. So it's, and it's perfect for change or for knickknacks at the desk or paper clips or whatever. So And you don't have to get too fancy with the finish. I mean, you can put 4 or 5 coats of sanding sealer on it and call it done, and you're good to go.
And yeah, if you're practicing how to put it's an outward bead on the piece. If you're learning how to turn bowls and you want to put an outward bead on the rim, pardon me, this is the way you can practice. You don't have to do a big piece. You can practice that style if you
Yep,
want to.
You use free wood or the leftovers from something else, and something that you might otherwise throw out, and there's all kinds of things you can play with, and it's just a simple bowl, and you can get creative with it. You can try different shapes. Does it meet the golden mean standard? Is it pleasing to the eye? Do I want to try a little lip in the rim or something like that? I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I did put a little sort of an outward sort of very faint on there when I did this. So I don't know if that's apparent from here.
That's what I was calling an outward bead.
Yeah, you can see the raised
Well,
rim.
I've got it's just ever so slightly flared out here at the tip. So it's not as straight to the rim. It flares out just a little bit right as it gets to the end here. I don't know if that's visible or not. Nope, tipping it the wrong way.
Well, your eye will perceive that. It changes the light as the angle changes. So your eye will perceive it. Camera might
so
get it, but your eye will.
So there's there's infinite things you can do with it, and it's it's wood that you might otherwise just throw in the fire or something, and I mean, you could sell it for $15 at a craft show too. So 3 or 4 coats of sanding sealer and you're good to go.
Look at the practice you get out of it. It's a skill builder, really.
It's practice. If you made 20 of those, you might make your booth fee at a craft fair, with just those, and somebody who doesn't have a lot of money but wants to take something home from the show, has now got a little something that's very unique and handmade and didn't cost them a whole lot. You know what I mean? So,
and it's a good item to throw in as an extra item to seal a sale.
Yep. Well, and you don't ever, when I do that, Dane, I don't ever tell anybody I'm sending it. They'll,
Right.
somebody spends, a couple $100 on a piece, they're getting extra stuff in the box.
Right. Yep. I do the same.
Yep.
If you put it in a magnet in the bottom of it, quilters like it for holding straight pins.
There you go. And you can do the Harbor Freight thing and stick it to your lathe or stick it to the cabinet next to you or whatever. So lots of options.
All types of uses.
Yep. Any questions or comments further on this?
Thank you, sir, for filling in tonight.
Yep. I thank you too.
You're very
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
Happy to help out, and I hope it
And
was
I
useful.
double thank you, Matt, because I just got in here just a few minutes ago. So I really appreciate you picking that up.
Great job.
My pleasure, Dean. I'm glad I was able to. So thank you.
Members
Glad
helping
to
members.
see
That's what we do here tonight.